You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, Doge, and more. Cryptocurrencies and digital assets are taking the financial world by storm. This exploding market provides everything a savvy trader needs: volatility, volume, and liquidity, provided you know how to find it. That's where we come in. Welcome to the Crypto Rundown. Each week, we'll break down the latest trading activity, trends, and developments throughout the world's leading crypto derivatives markets. If it's moving the crypto markets, then you'll find it on the Crypto Rundown. The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. Now it's time to dive into the exploding world of crypto derivatives. It's time for the Crypto Rundown.
All right, everybody. That music means we are back one final time for the mad year of 2024. It is time to roll out the Crypto Rundown. You know what's going on in these crypto markets, the world of crypto derivatives? Let's find out together, shall we? My name, of course, is Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com. I want to thank all of you out there who've been just binging our network throughout the year. It's been a wild year. It's been a great year. More folks joining every day, every month out there, including coming from the Crypto Rundown. So I want to thank all of you out there who've taken the time to download, subscribe, to rate and review, whatever it is you do to engage with the network, post on social media, whatever the case may be. We thank you all for taking the time to listen and engage with our content. We literally couldn't do it without you folks as we roll on in one final time for the year for the Bitcoin Breakdown.
It's time to explore the latest trending activity, trends, and developments across the world's leading crypto market. It's time for the Bitcoin Breakdown.
All right, everybody, let's do it one final time for this mad year. Man, what a mad year it has been for crypto. Don't worry. We're going to break down all the crazy trends and interesting trades and developments that caught our eye and really stood out to us in the new year as we look back on the mad year of 2024, I should say. But I'm not quite there yet. One last show to get under our belts first, listeners. And where is our old pal BTC hanging out at as we're coming into our final show of the year? We're up a wee bit from where we were this time a week ago. So if you're worried maybe about the bloodletting we talked about on the show last week, that seems to have mitigated, at least for now. 94,085 is where we were when we kicked off the show. That puts us up 532 handles from where we were this time a week ago. You know, one of the interesting things we've been talking about here on the show, certainly for the better part of the last few months, is how little we've seen a lot of this movement reflected in the volatility and the skew out there in Bitcoin and ETH and other major crypto assets. Is that still the case this week? One final time for the year? I guess let's go find out. All this data, of course, coming at you courtesy of our friends over there at Amber Data, amberdata.io, the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. Tell them you heard about them on the show. They will be very thankful to hear from you. As we head on over to the Bitcoin vol, what is the weekly vol? As we wind up the year, listeners, looking a little bit frothier than it was this time a week ago, 55.1 as we kicked off the show. Last week, 51 3/4, so ticking up a wee bit, but still at or around that same level it's been hanging out at for a while, that mid-50s range. Same deal as we go out about 30 days as well, but maybe slightly frostier. We're at a 56 even on the show last week. This week, 57.86, so ticking up a wee bit. That's actually more evolution than we've seen over the last couple of weeks. We've been almost unched week over week for a while out here, which has been kind of fascinating to watch. If we get out a full 6 months, it's back to what we're expecting, pretty much unchanged on the week, 61 1/4 a week ago, a whopping 61 1/2 this week, up a whopping quarter. So not a huge evolution on the longer term, the hodler vol front. Let's go out to the skew, see if anything's popping off there. And we're seeing a little bit of evolution there. Not on the weekly skew side. It is literally unchanged from a week ago. Last week, we were negative 0.5. This week, a whopping negative 0.5. No change there. Going out to the 30-day skew, the 1 month skew, a more standardized metric, listeners. We were at a 0.75 on the show last week, positive 2.7. So ticking up nearly 2 points on the week. So again, not surprising given what we saw a little bit of an upswing out there in good old BTC. And of course, the hodlers, are they looking a little bit more hodly, to coin a phrase? The answer is yes. They're at a positive 4.4 on the show last week. This week, positive 5.65. So looking a little bit frothier, a little bit more biased to the upside. Those hodlers, they're definitely hodling, at least right now. Listen, let's see if that's spilling over in some of the other products you folks love to sling. And if there is one big development that really rocked the crypto derivatives world this year, and it probably will continue for some time, is, of course, the introduction of IBIT. Just like BITO years ago when BITO came to the masses and really offered an optionable Bitcoin product that you can put in your securities account. It wasn't ideal. Obviously, it was based off the futures, but it was getting you there. It was getting you like 90% of the way there. You had to deal with some funky distributions and some other things, but if you can come to grips with that, you had an interesting run on BITO. Well, now IBIT is here for you. Everything people have been waiting for, the spot ETF that is optionable, finally here. And man, you folks have been slinging at 53.5 as we're kicking off the show today, up about half a point from where we were this time last week. So pretty much moving in lockstep with what we're seeing on the old big BTC. The ADV is 336,000 contracts. That is literally unchanged from a week ago. So no real drop off to end the year. Usually a seasonally quiet time from a volume perspective. Everyone's off celebrating the holidays. No one's really slinging derivatives, but IBIT is here to say, hey, we're still busy. 336, not changing as we're heading into the final week of the year. So you folks still slinging some IBIT. Looking decently active today, 212,000 contracts on the tape as we kicked off the show. Let's see how we're rocking now. Pretty much 221 right now. So will we hit that 336 by the end of the day? We still got about an hour and a half left in the session, so it seems like they're on track to at least threaten it. A 30-day vol at a 60 even. That is literally unchanged from where we were a week ago as well. So on the vol front, pretty much playing out like we're seeing on Deribit, unchanged kind of across the board. But folks are still slinging some crypto derivatives and indeed slinging some IBIT options out there. Have you folks, this was a subject of our question of the week. I'll get your thoughts in a second, but have you folks been dipping your toes into IBIT? I think I know the answer, but we'll get to your official results in a little bit. In terms of size positions, what's open for size out there in IBIT right now? The big dog is still that synthetic that went up on the 54 strike. So let's jump away from those. Number 3 is 39,000 of the Feb 60s. 6-0s. That's an interesting one out there, listeners. You like those Feb 60s? Let's go dig up when those opened and for how much. Looks like a bunch of them went up on December 20th, so just 10 days ago. 17,000 of them traded. Let's see what kind of prices we're looking at. $4.10. Either way, it looks like they sold them, listeners, for $4.10. So a little bit of an overwrite, listeners. You like that? Feb 60 as an overwrite for $4.10. You rally all the way up to 60 by Feb expiration. You get $4.10 on top of that. Getting another over $10 of the price where IBIT is right now. Not the worst do, as the kids say, at the end of the day. And in terms of what's lighting it up out there today, listeners, the big dog, such as it is, about 10,000 of the 54 calls expiring on the 10th. So these are out in the weeklies. Looks like they're going up for about $1.20. Paper looks like overriding those as well. So it does seem like we are seeing a lot of overriding action. Makes sense. We see a little bit of a premium to the upside. If you want to get 54 is aggressive. You're selling pretty much an at-the-money call in IBIT. So you're not looking for much action through the end of the year into the first week of next year. You like that, listeners? $1.20 for a little bit of upside in IBIT. Somebody's taking it today about 10,000 times. As we keep on rolling out to BITO, 2280, which is kind of interesting. Unchanged from where we were this time a week ago. So IBIT up $0.50. BITO kind of lagging. Only 2280 up, unchanged on the week. In terms of ADV, 92,000 contracts. That's the ADV down. That's down another 19,000. So still almost 100,000 contracts a day, but people are going to watch BITO for a while to see if it is falling by the wayside as IBIT continues to gain steam. 55,000 contracts on the tape today in BITO. So not the most active, but not the sleepiest day either. The big dog, about 4,000 of the 21 half puts expiring this week on the 3rd. Looks like they went up for about 25 cents. Interesting. You buying those, listeners, for 25 cents? Seems like somebody did about 2,000 times this morning, and then a total of 4,000 on the day. The vol at a 58, down about a point. So we're not seeing, again, as expected, a lot of vol evolution out there. The big dog still, the Jan 30s, 100,000 of those bad boys. Think we'll get there, listeners? 30 strike. Hopefully, for their sake, they overwrote those. Either way, that is still the big dog. MSTU, not exactly big anymore. Trading at a 9 handle as we kicked off the show. Down another 1 3/4 points. This thing has been wild. Huge moves all over the place. Massive splits. All kinds of madness going on out here. $1.75 seems kind of tame by comparison. The ADV continues to grow in this quiet time of year. 35,000 contracts a day. That's up another 7,000 contracts from this time a week ago, listeners. So looking pretty hot out here in MSTU land. And today, 53,000 on the tape. My goodness. MSTU. Have you been lured to the dark side of this degeneracy? If so, you can blame Greg. That's fully Greg's fault. I accept no responsibility for that. 3,500 of the 5 puts. That was the big dog out there today, listeners. They went up for 15 cents. Paper buying those. 5 puts. We're at about a 9, like we said, kicking off the show. Given the way this thing has completely fallen out of bed, I wouldn't put anything past this. You like those 15 cents? Somebody did, listeners. And again, 53,000 contracts on the tape. The vol, if you're wondering, a whopping 175. Down about 10 points from where we were this time a week ago out here. So, yeah, just wild stuff out here. Again, not for the faint of heart. If you don't need to be out in those waters, maybe you avoid that one. Listen, that is a wild one. 1765 is Mara, another pretty wild one out here, down $1.60. We were just talking about on our option block show. I've been saying for a while, this thing has been a pretty range-bound trader. If you look at the chart for this year, it has lived up to that billing almost perfectly. It has bounced between 15 and 30 multiple times this year. So if you traded it as a range-bound name, overriding the 30s, bouncing off the 15s back and forth, maybe even doing wheels, you could do a lot of different things, just selling puts and selling calls. You could do a lot of things in that range to take advantage of that. But it has bounced in that range multiple times this year, and it is doing so yet again, trending back down 1765 as we kicked off the show, down $1.60. It was threatening a 30 handle not too long ago, listeners. This thing has been just on a wild ride this year. 382,000 contracts is your ADV. That sounds like a lot, and it is, but it's down 96,000 from this time a week ago. So, wow, falling off a cliff. It is that time of year. We expect things to be quiet, except for monsters like MSTU. That's its own beast entirely. But 322,000 contracts on the tape today, so it seems like it probably is going to hit that lower ADV. Let's see, what is lighting it up out there in Maryland right now? Got 15,000 of the 20s and 14,000 of the 27s. So it looks like there might be a vertical going up here. The 27 is going up for 14 cents. The 20s going up for 74 cents. Could be rolling from the 27s down to the 20s or taking them both off. The big dog, still 71,000 of these 30s out here. I think we looked in and maybe paper overwrote those. Let's hope so for their case, because if they were buying those, they really weren't paying attention to this chart. And they're wearing it right now. So let's hope for their sake. 71,000. That seems like that OI has grown. So if you overwrote those 30s, congratulations. You paid attention. You're looking pretty good right now as we keep on rolling into the altcoin universe.
It's time to move beyond Bitcoin and find out what's moving the rest of the crypto marketplace. It's time to boldly venture into the altcoin universe.
All right, everybody, let's do it. Time for our final altcoin universe of the year. Time for our final market cap slugfest. These have been fun to watch. I predict they will continue to be fun into the new year. Last week, our number 10 spot was held by our old pal Tron with $21.5 billion. Can anything unseat it this week? Will we be higher? Will we be lower? To break into our top 10, let's find out. Number 10, once again, Tron holding with its kung fu grip onto the number 10 spot, listeners. $21.9 billion worth of market cap. Number 10 is Tron. Number 9, our old pal Cardano, $30.4 billion. Number 8, USD Coin, $43.8 billion. Number 7, it's Doge, $46.9 billion on the tape. Number 6, it's Solana. Solana selling off a bit, getting some back now, almost $93.5 billion worth of market cap. Number 5, BNB, $101.9 billion. Number 4, XRP, $120.25 billion. Number 3, it's Tether, $138.8. Number 2, it's ETH, $408.5. And the big dog, still shy of the 2T level, hit not too long ago, $1.85 trillion worth of market cap. Let's get out to the big number 2 out there. Was looking a lot bigger a few weeks ago, kind of giving up some of the ghosts, even though it has gained about almost 50 handles back this week. We're talking about our old pal ETH, $33.93 right now, up 45 handles from where it was this time a week ago. Again, one of our stories to end the year, and I predict will be a continued question into 2025, is what's up with ETH? Is ETH going to continue lagging its competitors out here? Will we see some of these other players like Solana and others continue to steal mind share and market share? Or will ETH make a comeback? Is ETH going to strike back? I guess we'll find out. They certainly could do with a little bit of strike back out here. All you ETH heads out there probably saying, man, let's catch up. Let's go. I mean, it's obviously not been a bad year for ETH, but you're looking at some of the others out there. You certainly say, man, I wouldn't mind a little bit of that on my holiday stocking out here. Let's go out to the ETH front. Let's look from a vol perspective first. Again, weekly vol kind of unchanged. 71 last week, 70 3/4 this week. Not a heck of a lot going on there. The 30-day vol is literally unchanged. 71 each. 71 last week, 71 this week. Literally unchanged on the monthly vol. A little bit of evolution if you go out 6 months. 73 1/4 last week, 72 right now. So coming in ever so slightly. Again, it's that time of year, listeners. We don't expect a heck of a lot. Going out to the Skew, similar stories on the weekly, but gets a little bit more action-packed as we go out to the monthly. Last week, we were negative 0.75 on the ETH front. This week, swinging to a positive 2, so ticking up a wee bit. Ticking up a little more as we go out to the monthly Skew, positive 1.5 on the show. Last week, positive 5.3, so that's looking a little bit optimistic, I would say, especially given where ETH has been of late. Positive 5 Skew. That's worth noting. That's worth paying attention to. Going out 6 months, we were at a positive 6 on the show last week. This week, a positive 8. So holders getting a little antsy a little bit longer term. Maybe they think, going back to what we've been saying for a while, ETH underperformance. ETH due for a little bit of catch up. We had a couple of glorious weeks there where ETH was doing just that, catching up. Then it gave up the ghost. We'll see if it can do a little more catch up in 2025. Let's look at some of the rest of our altcoin universe, and we'll get some of your crypto questions and get out of here for this Just the Facts, ma'am. Final edition for the year, listeners. Solana getting back some of what it lost. It was 189 on the show last week, 194 and about a half, so up about 5.5 handles on the week, listeners. So Solana still below the 200 level, but getting a little bit firmer out there. XRP, 220 last week, 210. This thing, after popping hard like we knew it would once, there wasn't even really any certainty, just some hope, glimmers of hope for the future. Now, once again, seemingly stuck at this level maybe forever. Who knows? Down about a dime from where it was a week ago. Doge, 31.6 cents last week, a whopping 31.8 cents this week. So not a huge evolution there. Litecoin, 103 last week, 101 and about a third this week. So down right around 1 3/4 on the week. Cardano, 89.1 cents last week, 86.5 this week. Polkadot, $7, almost exactly last week, 658 right now, down about 44 cents. And everybody's favorite, Shiba Inu, a million zeros, 2181 last week. This week coming down to 2153. So unfortunately, no Shiba Lambos for any of us this week as we pay things off one final time with your crypto questions.
You've got questions about crypto. Who doesn't? It's time to find out the answers to your crypto questions.
All right, listeners, last week, our question of the week for the full network was very much geared at the audience of this program. We said, hey, many options traders have been caught up in the IBIT frenzy. Are you one of them? Quite simply, have you been lured to the dark side of IBIT options? Gave you three choices. Yes, I have been lured to the dark side, and I'm happy. I'm rocking my red lightsaber. I'm red and proud, baby. Or not yet, but I'm kind of crypto curious, so you're intrigued. You haven't been lured to the dark side yet, but maybe you've gone gray. You're feeling a little bit of that pull, that attraction of the dark side. Or you're just, staying light side. Crypto, not for me. You're going the Obi-Wan, the Luke Skywalker route. And it was a fascinating back and forth out there, listeners, throughout the week. Folks were loving them. They were not in. They were in the middle. It's all over the place, kind of to watch the evolution. I'll give you the final results in a second. A lot of folks chiming in. We've had one of our pro members, Age Del Aquarius, saying, trading those options sounds like painting your windshield black and getting on the expressway with nothing but your GPS to guide you at 100 miles an hour. Way too wild of a ride for me at the moment. Again, that's fine. It's not for everybody out there. Noel Smith, he disagrees. He's been on our VolView show. And he says IBIT paper is great. So again, that's what makes the market. People love it. People don't like it. It's not for everybody, but it is clearly for a lot of you. And our resident humorist, Vernon Griffin, says, hell no, I prefer my investments like my jokes. Solid, in quotes. So even he's saying maybe all of his jokes don't land. But he tries hard. And not likely to disappear overnight. Besides, the only dark side I'm interested in involves epic space battles, lightsabers, and mass villains. So you're down with what we're putting down here for the question. So after a big back and forth, listeners, the Vernons and the Ages of the world won out ever so slightly, 44.1% saying crypto, not for me. IBIT options, not for me right now. But 29.4% of you coming in on the yes, I am on the dark side. So fully nearly a third of you are saying, yes, you are already trading IBIT options. And then also the not yet, but I'm crypto curious, 26.5%. So you're closing in on 55% of you pretty much saying, yes, you're trading them right now, or you're curious. You could be lured to the dark side. Our good buddy, Mr. Dr. Vic's been on VolViews many times. He famously washed his hands of crypto and ETH after working at an exchange that had a lot of them. He just decided, you know what? I'm going to dump my ETH at 2,500 years ago. That level looked pretty good. Now, not so much. And he said, I'm out. And this IBIT has lured him back in. We talked to our buddy, Matt, on many times on the network. From ORAT, same thing. He never was really quite out, but he liked a little bit of BITO. Now IBIT has really lured him to the dark side. So this IBIT is very much a gateway drug for a lot of you to the world of crypto. So I'm very curious to see. Maybe we'll do this poll again towards the middle or end of next year and see how your results might change. All right, listeners, that is going to do it for us on the Crypto Rundown for today and indeed for this year, this mad year of 2024. I want to thank all of you out there who joined us this year, who have been with us from the beginning. We love you all out there. Heading into 2025 will be our 18th year. Madness, to say out loud, listeners. Not on this show, obviously, but on the network. It's been going for a while. We've been doing this options podcast thing for a while. Thanks to all of you who have joined us this year. If you're new, who've been rocking with us for a while. We love you all out there. Have a great end of the year, a great, safe, a fun new year. We'll see you back here next year to talk everything crypto derivatives you can imagine and more. So see you next year. And stay safe out there.
The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.